So in this video, we're diving into the two most important things that all of you guys need to know if you want to become an elite shooter. Let's dive into it. So the two most important things we all need to know as a shooter is how to create energy and how to express energy in an efficient way. If we think about it, if we just take the basketball, put it on the floor, the ball is not going to be able to go from the floor to the hoop. So we need to be able to create the proper energy to get the ball from where it is to where we want it to get it to. So if the ball is in our hands, we are the ones who are creating the energy and expressing it to get it to go from us to the hoop. So how we create energy is the first domino, and a lot of us mess this up in two different ways. The first way is you guys like to keep the ball too high, so you guys start with the ball at your set point. So when you guys get nice and low, you guys drop your hips, bend your knees, but the ball starts up here by your set point. The reason why this is a bad idea is because now we have to do what I refer to as crashing the angle. So as we get low, we have that ball too high. Now the angle starts with our upper arm, so our forearm, and then our bicep. Now, like I said, we have to create energy to get the ball to go to the hoop. We're not gonna get nice and low and then just push the ball from right here. We're gonna need to create that energy. So we're going to need to load or tense up, right? So we get nice and low. To create that energy, we pull the ball back and we crash this angle between our upper arm and our bicep. When we do this, this then affects the second domino of releasing that energy or expressing that energy. I want you guys to think about it like this. How you load is how you go. Or typically how you load is how you go, right? So if I want to jump high, I'm going to drop down and then explode up. If I want to throw a dart, I'm going to pull the dart back, throw it straight out. If I want to throw a football or baseball, I'm going to pull it back, then throw it. So the same thing applies with the basketball. When we drop low, if the ball's too high and we need to create energy to get the ball to go from us to the rim, we're going to pull back. Now when we release energy, we're naturally going to want to push the ball straight out. Now it's going to affect the shot. We're probably going to have a flatter shot, or the ball is just going to be too hard and soar right over top of the rim. Now, a lot of us already know we're supposed to try to have a higher finish. So what you guys end up doing is trying to pop the ball up later within the shot, right? So you guys get low, ball starts too high, you pull it back. When you go to release it, you guys try to pop the ball up at the last second. So now you're trying to get underneath the ball too late. That's one of the issues we have when we start with the ball too high. So we're here, we pull the ball back, our hand gets behind the basketball. So to get underneath it, to get the ball to go high, like I said, we try to pop it up later. Now, the second mistake I typically see is you guys start with the ball too low, right? The first one, you guys started at your set point. This time you guys are starting with the ball way too low. Now, the reason why this is an inefficient way of creating energy is because you guys are increasing the distance that the ball has to move through the rest of your shot. So you guys are essentially overdoing it, right? So as you're dropping down, let's say you catch the ball, you guys are dropping all the way down. Now we've just almost doubled the distance the ball has to move through the rest of our shot just to get back to our set point. Now what happens when you guys get the ball all the way down here, now you guys extended this angle from your forearm to your bicep. Now to get the ball back to your set point, you have to have this big pull getting all the way back. And what typically happens when you get to the top is you have this weird hitch to get your wrist underneath, and then you try to have to get it to the rim from there. Like I said, that is an inefficient path way to get the ball to your set point. We don't want to have to double the distance just to get to the same spot every single time. When you effectively double the distance, you've almost made the shot harder to shoot, or in a sense, kind of make it almost feel like the ball is heavier to shoot. So we don't want the ball too high, but we also don't want it too low. The perfect spot to kind of be in is right in the middle. So we want to get nice and low, drop out our hips, bend our knees, and we want to have our elbow in line with our body. A lot of you guys have issues with the ball too high, right? So our elbow is far away from our body, it's disconnected. We want to bring that elbow back, keeping it in line with our upper body. From here, we want to take our forearm and make it parallel to the floor. We don't want to extend it like this, or we don't want it too high. We want it to look almost like an L or kind of like a V, but we want to make sure it's parallel to the floor. From here, we want our wrist behind the basketball. We don't want it on top, but we also don't want to jam it to where our wrist is uncomfortable. From this position, now all we have to do is just push the ball to our set point. Our wrist is underneath, and now everything can go up into the rim. When we get the ball too low, now we have to make that hitch at the top, or when the ball's too high, we have to pull it back. When the ball is in that right spot where our forearm is parallel to the floor, everything just begins to push straight up to the basket. We want to think about moving the ball in a straight line. Now, it's not going to move in an exact straight line. So if we look at it from the side, from here, if we go to our set point, the ball is going to have a slight curve. We want to make sure it's a small curve, not a big curve, because that's when we get into some of that stuff that happens when the ball is too low. We kind of make a bigger curve just to get the ball here. We want to have that small curve. So from here, just think about pushing the ball in a straight line, getting right to your set point. When we push the ball up, now we can get our wrist underneath the basketball. With our wrist underneath the basketball in the right spot, everything from here can just go straight towards the rim. When we can set up in this way, we can have the most efficient shot path as possible. We can just move straight to our set point, nice and smooth. When we start to get into more of the other areas where the ball's too high and the ball's too low, that just starts to make the shot be harder than it has to be. And we always want to make things as easy as possible. When we can be as simple as possible, now we don't have to be as close to perfect. But when we do things that make things harder, now we have to be closer to perfect with those shots.